What's going on, everybody? MysterySchooler here. How are you all today? I'm excited to present this one. We're looking for inner earth, finding inner earth. Welcome. How's everyone today? All right. Woo. Up first, we're doing the Himalayas, and this would be the entrance to Shambhala, our first inner earth entrance. Now, I only got a couple slides on this one, guys, because as you know, our last video, Expedition Inner Earth, we covered in great detail the Rourke expedition through the Himalayas. And we pretty much beat this one to death. So we got a couple slides on the Himalayas, and we're going to go right into the next entrance, and it's going to be more detailed. All right, we got Caucasian Sasquatch in the house. What's up, brother? I always appreciate you, man. How are you doing? All right, let's jump into it. Now, Shambhala first appears in the early Kalachakra Buddhist texts, which specified that its capital is named Kalapa and that the rulers are from the Kalki dynasty. Many scholars believe that the myth derives from the tales of an actual kingdom, somewhere in the mountains of South or Central Asia. Yeah, definitely check out our last video, Expedition Inner Earth, if you're interested in this one. We covered it in vivid detail, almost 30 slides. And just, I just want to say, just look at this place, man. Doesn't this look like this is leading to some mystical place? I'm just saying. Just throwing it out there. Wow, look at that, huh? Yeah, the Rourke family, our last video we covered, they walked all up and down the Himalayas. They covered so much track, and they actually led 2 expeditions. They were sent back. And according to his diaries, the diaries of Nicholas Rourke, he did in fact find the legendary kingdom. So definitely check out our last video, Expedition Inner Earth, for more details on that. Right now we're going to go into the entrance number 2, the Navajo Mountains. Now, I know you guys are going to say these entrances are a little vague, but I mean, what do you want me to? How accurately am I going to give you the entrance to a mythical, legendary location or whatever? Like, I'm trying my best. Okay, these are the places I would start looking if I were going to look for it. Okay. I don't have the exact coordinates of the fucking door. Okay. All right, we got Max Vision in the house. What's up, buddy? Great to see you, man. What do you think, Max? You think you think there's entrances to large subterranean caverns large enough to even have their own unique vegetation or cultures? They sure do write about it a lot, don't they? Hades, Hell, Agartha, Shambhala, goes on and on. The Norse mythology Hell. Max Vision wants the GPS number. Yeah, entrance 2, we got the Navajo Mountains. You see up there, we got the Rainbow Bridge of Legend, Lake Powell, and the Navajo Mountain right there. Now, the Navajo legends state their ancestors emerged from a subterranean world beneath the Navajo Mountain, Utah. You guys are going to notice there's a lot of different cultures that have these underworld myths or origin stories. And, I'm just thinking it's another one of these cases where there's just too many similar myths for it to be just a myth. There must be truth to this. And is it really so unbelievable? I mean, the Earth is massive. Is it so unbelievable there'd be large subterranean caverns large enough to house giant civilizations? Doesn't sound that unbelievable to me. Now, in the Navajo world below, there was no sun and no moon, and therefore no light. Yet vegetation in innumerable forms and the animal people thrived. Among the latter were the gray wolf people, the mountain lion people, the badger people, the locust people. Oh, maybe those are the ant people, huh, guys? That we know about today. They talk about in legend. Locust ant, kind of similar. especially a big one up close, right? You'd be like confused about that. Pine squirrel people, blue fox, yellow fox, owl, crow, buzzard, and 4 different varieties of hawk people, and many others. Huh, interesting. Yeah, this is an interesting topic. It's off topic, but uh, humans being a hybrid species, possibly coming from different types of animals coming together, because our blood groups don't match up, so it's a little interesting. Yeah, if you want to learn more about, about that, I would definitely check out Robert Sepfer's work. He's a brilliant anthropologist. Check this out. That's a depiction of Aztlan right there, and the Aztec were one of 7 tribes that came out of the caverns of Aztlan. That just sounds a lot like Atlantis to me, or Aztlan. You know what I'm saying? Is it possible that this was, another depiction of Atlantis? Or what I think is the advanced Agarthians that live below used to live above too. And they got separated from us somehow. I don't know, probably intentionally, knowing us. And yeah, this is just another depiction of Atlantis because, in the Emerald Tablets, Thoth talks about that the Mayas maintained a lot of the wisdom of ancient Atlantis, and their culture was, they maintained the religious, or whatever you want to call it, the knowledge of Atlantis and the wisdom of Atlantis. So, is this that depiction? There's also evidence to suggest that the Garden of Eden was also a subterranean realm, possibly. Entrance 3, Aztlan. And it's interesting because it's supposed to be a mythological place, but historians do speculate on possible entrances to this place because they do mention in the text physical entrances. Because people will debate that, these are just spiritual entrances to spiritual kingdoms, and it's about meditating and blah, blah, blah. And that's nice, but I don't know, man. It seems like a geographical location to me. Aztlan is the ancestral home of the Aztec peoples. Azteca, is the Nahuatl word for people from Aztlan. Aztlan is mentioned in several ethno-historical sources dating from the colonial period. And while they each cite varying lists of the different tribal groups who participated in the migration from Aztlan to central Mexico, the Mexica who went on to found Mexico, Tenochtitlan, are mentioned in all of the accounts. Historians have speculated about the possible location of Aztlan and tend to place it either in northwest Mexico or the southwestern United States. And that's interesting in southwestern United States part because I know they're said to be inner Earth entrances in Arizona and even parts of Nevada. And some people have speculated that that's why the government specifically has these underground bases and all this stuff guarding this stuff. What do you guys think? You think we're not allowed down there because they don't want us to hit our head on a rock, or because they're hiding something? Nahuatl histories relate that 7 tribes lived in Chicomostoc, or the place of the 7 caves. Each cave represented a different Nahal group. Yeah, so there again we have the 7 tribes from the caves. Now I wonder if each of these groups were actually a different species of man, because it just mentioned how there are different species of man living underground. I wonder if these 7 groups from these 7 caves are, some kind of different hybrid humanoid with a different animal. I don't know. I thought it was an interesting concept. I mean, that is what the legend states. We just went through the whole list of all the different people, hybrids that live down there. Just so we get a better idea of what I'm talking about here. In the top left corner there, you can see the Earth, and below it, there's clearly a realm depicted. So in Babylon. And then over here in Hebrew, we have the earth on the top. And then below it, you can see the realm below, large cavern marked as Sheol. In Hindu here, you can't really see the subterranean world as much because it's a turtle. But I will say that if we were on the back of a turtle, that the a turtle's shell would be hollow, so that would also be hollow earth. So I'm gonna take that point right there. We got Norse. They have the roots that go underground all the way to Elysium. We got Celtic here. You clearly see the earth on the top in the center, or in the middle rather, and below it a subterranean realm. Navajo as well. You can't really see the subterranean realm so much on this one. I think they used to live up here with us guys. That's what all these Atlantis depictions are. And we just went over Atslan. Sure sounds like Atlantis, right? Probably not a coincidence. There's Inca, you can see the underworld as well right there. Wow, check that out, guys, huh? So that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this large cavern underground of legend. That's synonymous with spirituality. Usually people looking for that area are some kind of spiritual pilgrimage or claiming to be guided by an angel or something crazy like that most of the time. Now, the leaders of the Creek tribes stayed. The earth opened up in the west and the Creek peoples emerged. Yeah, you guys are going to notice a lot of Native American lore. It's subterranean. I just think it's fascinating, this idea of this large kingdom just below our feet, of these spiritually enlightened people. I don't know. It's funny because they lie to us so much, and the government lies to us so much. It's like they tell us down there is evil and it's the devil and all this evil shit, right? Well, wouldn't it be just so perfect for them wouldn't it just be so perfect if it was actually the opposite down there? Sometimes I get that vibe, like they tell us all that stuff to keep us from going down there, right? Don't go down there. The devil's down there. Devil. Yeah, the devil. Yeah, the halls of Elysium. The devil. The halls of Amenti, created by the gods of wisdom himself. The devil. The devil. Devil. Yeah, Max Vision brings up an interesting point. Max Vision says, living deep in the earth would be like being in a barometric chamber. You could be larger and you would be healthier because of increased healing speed. Yeah, and if that would be that would go hand in hand with myth or legend as well. Admiral Byrd, in his story, when he went down to the Arctic and got pulled down to Agartha, he said they were tall as hell, the people that lived down there. He said they're like 14 feet tall or something like that. They spoke a completely different tongue. Fascinating stuff. I think in the Bible too, doesn't it mention somewhere that Jesus went down to the center of the earth or something after he died? He went there first or something interesting. Yeah, the prolonged life stuff is interesting because it's like some depictions of Agartha or the subterranean realm, whatever you want to call it, Shambhala, is they have their own sun down there. What do you guys think of that? Possibly the heat source that they tell us is down there is actually some kind of sun. I don't know. It's interesting. As above, so below, right? And what if the light from that sun had a different type of melanin effect on your skin? And what if it turned you blue or green? Like, the Vedics? I don't know. The Pawnee story of creation tells that all living things came from under the ground. I wonder why they would say that, huh? Now here's a closer up depiction of what I'm trying to talk to you guys about. Yeah, there's Sheol just below the earth right there. You see above, we got the firmament. This was the cosmology of most of mankind for the longest amount of time as well. This is what it's always been. The current model is pretty new, actually. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about Sheol. Now, remember what we were saying about how Aztlan was, historians speculate that the entrance to Aztlan was possibly in southwest United States. Interestingly enough, there is an old Apache legend about a long and deep cave in Arizona, which is said to lead to an inner earth kingdom inhabited by a mysterious tribe. So, guys, we got a lot of correlating stories here, a lot of correlating legends, myths, whatever you want to call it. Even more recent stuff, though. What Admiral Byrd describes is consistent with this. Admiral Byrd's account was in the 1900s. It wasn't that long ago. Early 1900s, wasn't that long ago. And the Rourkes, Nicholas Rourke and his expedition to Shambhala was in the early 1900s as well. So we have, it's not just ancient myth we're going off of only. There's more recent stuff. It's just people aren't willing to accept it for whatever reason, even though it's heavily well documented. If you're interested in that, definitely, again, check out my last video, Expedition Inner Earth. Yeah, again, inhabited by a mysterious tribe. Who do you think this mysterious tribe is, guys? You think these are the Agarthis? You think this is just some people that live in the caves between Agartha and the surface world? Because I'd imagine the trip from surface Earth to Sheol is probably so massive. There's lots of room for other civilization or culture or whatever to thrive in between, especially tribal-like stuff, just living in the caverns. Or I don't know. Do you think this mysterious tribe is the Agarthians themselves? It should be noted that there's this cataclysm, this mythological cataclysm, they say, called the Kali Yuga. And it's this cataclysm that said it was a meteorite, pretty sure. Great heat. This is the event that separated the Agarthians from the surface. This is the event that divided us. Because like I said, they used to live up here. I'm pretty sure that was Atlantis. So I'm pretty sure that cataclysm is what caused the separation. Interesting stuff, though. I love it. Now, this is a trip. Have you guys ever heard of this? For entrance number 4, I picked the Cave of the Patriarchs. Now, the Cave of the Patriarchs, or Tomb of the Patriarchs, known by its biblical name, Cave of Machpelah, is a series of caves situated 30 kilometers, 19 miles south of Jerusalem, in the heart of the old city of Hebron in the West Bank. According to the Abrahamic religions, the cave and adjoining field were purchased by Abraham as a burial plot. The site is considered a holy place in Judaism and is the 4th holiest site in Islam. Now, what's interesting about this story, guys, is that I always thought that this place became a holy place because Abraham was buried there. But it actually turns out that Abraham wanted to be buried there because of its significance to the kingdom, to the foot of being at the foot of the Garden of Eden, is how they describe it. So again, we have this correlation with inner earth and the Garden of Eden. We're going to go over that in a second here. Now, don't think, guys, you could just, take your handy-dandy screwdriver and go down there and check it out, because we are not allowed to go inside these places. And in fact, most entrances like this have giant temples built over them, and they're actually very well fortified, basically fortresses. We can't go inside. Nobody can go inside. And it took me a while to realize that a lot of these cathedrals or temples or whatever you want to call them around the world, especially in the eastern part of the world, are actually just decorations, basically, or things to conceal, structures to conceal inner earth entrances. subterranean entrances to these spiritual kingdoms. I'm not pulling this out of my butt. Look up the Naga if you're interested in this kind of mythology or legend, whatever you want to call it. Fact. I put an arrow there just so we can be clear, but there's straight up one of the entrances. You just move that thing on the top over, and it's just a giant cavern underneath there. According to the Midrash, the patriarchs were buried in the cave because the cave is the threshold to the Garden of Eden. All right, we're going to read it again for our friends with cognitive dissonance here. According to the Midrash, the patriarchs were buried in the cave because the cave is the threshold to the Garden of Eden. Okay? Because the cave leads to the Garden of Eden. That's why it's on this list. A lot of people are foolish enough to think that this place became a holy site because Abraham and Sarah are buried there. But Abraham and Sarah wanted to be buried there because it's close to Agartha. Now tell me, if hell, this realm below, is this evil place where your soul doesn't want to go, why does Abraham and Sarah want to be buried near it? Is it easier for your soul to travel to this inner realm if you die near it? They seem pretty interested in being buried there. You tell me. It's just some random cave in the middle of the desert? What? Why? Well, it says it right here. The cave is the threshold to the Garden of Eden. The patriarchs are said not to be dead, but sleeping. Now, this is, guys, this is consistent with the Emerald Tablets. We just went over this. These demigod beings living underground that aren't dead, but in a long-term slumber. We just covered this in Emerald Tablet 2, I'm pretty sure it was. They rise to beg mercy for their children throughout the generations. According to the Zohar, this tomb is the gateway through which souls enter into Gan Eden, heaven. Gan Eden sure sounds like Garden Eden, doesn't it? According to the Zohar, this tomb is the gateway through which souls enter into Gan Eden, heaven. So there it is, guys. We got the Midrash telling us it's a threshold to the Garden of Eden, and we got the Zohar telling us this is the gateway to Gan Eden, heaven. Yeah, it must be hell down there. It must be a bunch of little, demons poking you with a pitchfork, right? You getting tortured and all this shit. That makes sense. That's probably why Abraham and Sarah wanted to be buried down there, right? Silly Abraham. You and your deep esoteric wisdom. According to the book of Genesis, Abraham specifically purchased the land for use as a burial plot from Ephron the Hittite, making it one of two purchases by Abraham of real estate in the land of Canaan, the Promised Land. The book describes how the three patriarchs and their wives, the matriarchs, were buried there. Abraham and Sarah, Genesis 23, 1-20. Genesis 49:31. Isaac and Rebecca. Wow, look how they spell Rebecca. What the hell? Genesis 35:29. Genesis 49:31. Jacob and Leah. Genesis 49:28, 33. Genesis 54:5. So, wow, check that out, guys. I mean, doesn't it look like there's something down there? Why do you guys think it's such a protected site? Such a holy site as well. Let's check back on the chat real quick. Max Vision Remote Viewing Class says, the age of Pisces started with the conquest by the church. Yeah, the age of the dreamers, right? Yeah, they put us in a state of sleep or something. Max Vision Remote Viewing Class says, I have a sonic screwdriver. It's okay. Okay, cool. We're good to go explore then. Perfect. Max Vision Remote Viewing Class says, yeah, I would guard the entrances too. Right? Yeah, of course. No, just leave the entrances open so a bunch of sheep people can wander in here. Yeah, okay. Wow, what do you guys think, huh? I just had to share this with you. I know we already did an Inner Earth video, but there's just so much to this topic. We're probably going to keep doing it because I've barely scratched the surface. Now, the only matriarch missing is Jacob's wife, other wife, Rachel, described in Genesis as having been buried near Bethlehem. These verses are the common source for the religious beliefs surrounding the cave. While they are not part of the Quran, they exist in Islam's oral tradition. The story of Abraham's burial is recounted in, for example, 14th century stories of the prophets. So this is pretty well documented, guys. I mean, this, a lot of the stuff we cover on this channel is like, mythology and, verses, a paragraph long verse and stuff. But this is one of those parts of these topics where it's very well documented. There's a lot to this. I'm telling you, I'm barely scratching the surface on this one with the Cave of the Patriarchs. Definitely check it out, guys. But if I was just allowed to go wherever I want to search for Inner Earth, that would definitely be one of the places right there. Now, this is a quote from the influential Assyriologist Archibald Sayce. There's a dwelling which the gods created for the first human beings, a dwelling in which they became great and increased in numbers, and the location of which is described in words exactly corresponding to those of Iranian, Indian, Chinese, Eddaic, and Aztecian literature, namely in the center of the earth. Now, I don't know, guys. Why do you think he would go and say something like that? Fuck, I love my job. Now, why do you guys think he'd go and say something like this? Because he thinks it's a myth? Why has all his study, so much study in this field, led him to come to this conclusion? All right, we got Shari Ives in the house. Welcome. All right, we got Sean Camp in the house. What's up? Hello, welcome. Now, this one's more of a supernatural pick. We got Entrance 5, Mount Shasta, Pluto's Cave. Get a little more specific with the list now, guys. A partially collapsed lava tube on the northern outskirts of Mount Shasta in the Klamath National Forest. Its main entrance is located close to 9997 cutoff, 12 miles northeast of Weed and 14 miles southeast of Granada. Wow, check that out, huh? All right, we got Captain Caveman in the house. What's up, buddy? Welcome. Great to see you, man. We're looking for Inner Earth. Come join us. Try to remember, guys, this is my list of where I would go look. This is where I would go look if I was going to look for Agartha or Shambhala, whatever you want to call it. You know, we're not allowed to, but if we were allowed to, this is where I would look. One of the places. Now, I don't know if I even have to go into how paranormal, supernatural, whatever you want to call it, this Mount Shasta is. It's pretty much the main reason I picked Mount Shasta, this entrance specifically. I've also heard a story about some kids that wandered into this cave with some cave diving equipment, some teens. And the story goes they got lost and their light ran out. And they claim that they were led out of the cave by a mysterious blue orb. I don't know. There's no way I could verify the story, but I thought it was an interesting one. What do you guys think the blue orb that led them out could have been? Well, maybe a fairy? Maybe some kind of friendly demonic spirit or something? I don't know. A friendly demon or something? I don't know. So whatever it was, it led them out instead of further in. So it must have been good, huh? Maybe guardian angel. I don't know, but oh yeah, Sean Camp asks, Max, do you do remote viewing streams? Yeah, Max Vision does do remote viewing streams. Everybody, if you're into remote viewing, definitely check out Max Vision remote viewing class. Shari Ives says, I think Agartha's front door is Mammoth Cave, Kentucky. Okay, I'll definitely check that out. Darn, I should have added that to the list. I gotta start consulting you before I make my videos, Shari. Small fire sites and ritual objects left behind attest to all-night ceremonies and vigils for paranormal or spiritual purposes. Stories circulate of people going mad after spending the night there and being confronted by some unspeakable paranormal horror. But they have the suspicious sound of urban legends happening to friends of friends of friends. Nonetheless, most visitors find the cave creepy. That's from occultworld.com. I thought that was interesting. Yeah, I mean, it goes very deep, and I mean, they tell us it's a series of tunnels, so the reason, like I was saying, the reason I chose Pluto's Cave is because it's a series of tunnels or tubes connected to the very supernatural hotspot that is Mount Shasta. I mean, Mount Shasta sightings range anywhere from Bigfoot to leprechauns to ascended masters to dark cults to light cults, aliens, all kinds of stuff. Nazi bases, whatever you can think of, there's pretty much a legend there for Mount Shasta. So it's a very interesting place. So yeah, if you were seeking inner Earth access to Agartha in North America, I think Mount Shasta would be a really good place to start. Why? Well, Mount Shasta paranormal sightings include UFOs and ETs, Bigfoot, fairies, Fairy Falls or Bernie Falls State Park sightings, little people, the moon-eyed people, mysterious lights, white robed tall people, Lemurians and secret cities, ghosts. Mount Shasta is also home to many Native American myths. Shari Ives says, you will not find me in a cave in the middle of the night. Hey, what does it matter what time it is? You're in a cave. You better bring your light regardless. Come on, Shari, go spend the night in Pluto's cave and tell us what happens. Make sure you live stream it. Max Vision remote viewing class says, I have been to the caves in Arizona. Oh, no way, really? What was that like? I went to the Lovelock Caves out here in Nevada, where they say the Giants got smoked out to death, besieged or whatever by was it the Navajo or something like that? I forget. Well, Max Vision remote viewing class says that when he was trying to astral project down there under Mount Shasta, that they saw a bunch of alien stuff and ships in places and stuff, aliens and stuff. There's a lot of UFO correlation with these inner Earth entrances, like Admiral Byrd, for example, when he was made his expedition to the Arctic. There's supposed to be an inner Earth entrance down over there, he claims, and there was lots of UFOs. In fact, the UFOs were fighting them, according to his story. And Nicholas Rourke, on his expedition to Shambhala, they also encountered a UFO when they were getting close to the entrance. When he was saying they were getting close to the entrance, they kept encountering UFOs and stuff. It's interesting. It makes you wonder, what is the truth behind this UFO phenomenon? Are these just inner Earth civilizations? don't forget that what's his name? Alexander the Great also documented a lot of UFO sightings, and he traveled the world and conquered the world or whatever. And they saw the UFOs going in and out of the water a lot, out of the ocean, which a lot of people see happen, today. So it makes you wonder why is a spaceship going underwater, right? Is that where it's really from? Right? Are they advanced inner Earth civilizations? I mean, the majority of the planet's water. Don't tell me we rule the planet and we're not even able to go down there and shit. Not really. Right? Interesting stuff, though. All right, we got 8 people watching. Hit the like button for me, guys. I really appreciate all of you. Now, this is from our last video, Expedition Inner Earth, from the Rourke expedition. This is the remote monastery, Trasilumpo, Tibet. This is an excerpt from the story during our Inner Earth expedition video. 1928 was the year the party was missing. At some point, the Rourke expedition discovered a remote monastery known as the Trasilumpo Lamasery. Upon entering, Nicholas was shocked to see a massive, tall structure in the middle of the temple. As if anticipating this moment, the abbot of the monastery walked up to him and presented a black gem, 5 inches long, on an ornate carrying pillow. Nicholas Rourke's diary suggests they did in fact find the legendary city. When Nicholas's diary was finally made public, there is a strange entry recorded. In a remote valley, an old monk led them to the back of an ancient temple, with an opening that was blocked by carefully cut stones. The monk stated that it was a holy entrance to the inner earth kingdom of Shambhala and forbid them from entering. My conclusion is that many of these temples, cathedrals, monasteries, whatever you want to call them, are in fact nothing more than heavily decorated surface markers marking entrances to Agartha, aka Sheol. Illustration is in the back there. Well, I really appreciate all you guys for being here. Thanks for watching the stream. Chrissy says, I think Alexander the Great is my ancestor. I am Macedonian. I said Macedonian. And he is from a village near my parents' hometown. Wow. Okay. I hope you didn't get any karma for being related to him, huh? Oh, yeah. Sean Camp says, I love the research on Admiral Byrd. Yeah, it's a really interesting story. I'm probably going to end up doing a video on the Admiral Byrd story itself, because Lord knows I bring it up often enough to where it'd probably be useful for the rest of the viewers who aren't familiar with the story to have heard the story. Oh, yeah, Moldavite. Yeah, how did that go, Chrissy? You getting interesting results with the Moldavite? Yeah, Moldavite's a mineral, like medium magnetic mineral used in occult practices. It's said to connect the above and the below. I'm not sure. I haven't really messed with it much, but it sounds interesting. Max Vision says he has a real affinity with Alexander. That's cool. All right, we got Michael Kahn in the house. What's up, buddy? It's always good to see you, man. Yeah, I agree with Flat Sabbath. Caves really no sign of lava. Yeah, that whole narrative is pretty much BS. I'm gonna find, dude. Most of the time, they're just old world caves or tunnels or whatever, and they tell us, "Oh, lava did it. Don't go in there, though, right?"